We back. What is good, y'all? How the hell is everybody, man? Hopefully, everybody is uh is doing well. We have got a gorgeous evening here in the Motor City. Hopefully, everybody is well. Ready to roll on a Saturday. Hope you got to enjoy the weather at a minimum. We got a good one for you tonight. Low tense. So buckle up, grab a lip, and let's go ahead and let's get involved. We have a ton to do tonight. We are on a certain series that looks pretty nice. Uh, so I will explain that. But what's on the docket for tonight? I am going to go through the NFL overseas schedule. We are going to talk some college football. We are going to talk some hockey. We are going to talk some baseball. And I am going to be honest with my audience. And then heard some audio yesterday. We got an interesting situation in friggin' Minnesota. I have some takeaways on that. And I am going to start with the Tigers. So that is where we are starting tonight, and I am just going to be uh honest with you. I'm going to tell you how the hell I feel. I'm going to give you reasons behind it, and we'll talk about it. Along with that, we are on DR Modding's Farmville, North Carolina. So to my knowledge, this map is somewhat complete. But it still needs some work. Along with that, this is a save game from early 25, when Farming Simulator 25 came out. So with that, we have $400,592. We do have some equipment. We do have to pick up some things. We have got to take care of some things. It is November, and the way that I am going to describe this save game is basically it just got lost in the old files. And I basically created it. I never really played it. There's not many hours on this game. Um, but I've really wanted to get back on this map. Um, and really try and make something out of it. And tonight just felt right, so that's what we're gonna do. As we are up here at the co-op, and oh, there's my truck. We have got the good old Dirty Max from Diesel Division Customs. I will update the description when we go ahead and finish tonight's stream. That way, if you guys do see a mod that you are looking for, we will go ahead and link that in the description, so be sure to check that out. But with that said, let's go ahead and get the roller back and plant, or not plant, but get this back. We do need to work on some soybeans. We need to. There's a whole bunch of different things we got to do. So, so look. I only need about 3 minutes of your time. Before you get mad, before you change the channel, before you do whatever you do. I do this very, very differently, obviously, because I'm playing a video game while I'm talking sports. The difference is I come on here and I tell you my opinion. I give reasons to back it up. And I try and give it 110%. And if you've been watching the last couple of evenings, we have, in fact, talked sports. We have, in fact, talked about the Lions. We've talked about the Tigers. We have talked about quite a bit of different things. But this is where I feel this sets me apart from the rest. Based on I am going to be completely honest with you. This team is, in fact, hard to watch. And I turned on the radio yesterday and I tuned into the morning show. Obviously, with the drama going on between the social media team and the station, quite obviously, there is some intrigue there. And then I turn on Doug and Gator. And very, very simply, I heard some nonsense. And so, here is what I mean by that. The Scooble talk. And so, I started locking in. And I said, you know what? I am going to take this to the YouTube channel and we're going to talk about it. I am just going to simply be honest with my audience and go from there. So first of all, this team is hard to watch. We will get to the equipment sitting here in a moment. My point is that this team is 8-23 on the road. This team is in fact 12 games out of the division. It's not even June. Skubal is hurt. Torres is hurt. And I've already said it in another stream, but it is very, very ridiculous, in my opinion. I believe the injuries are being blown out of proportion. Now, let me say this. Do the injuries matter? Yes, they do. But here's your problem. The fantasy world that we live in with this team, this idea of that you're trading Skubal, and I need to hear from you. Very, very simply, I need to hear from you. Do you feel the way I feel? Guys, it's been 2 years of this. I'm done. I don't want to see Skubal. I don't want to hear about Skubal. I don't want to talk about Skubal. Now, I'm not telling you that we're not going to do a Skubal show at some point. But first of all, he's hurt. Secondly, I have no indication that the Tigers are even going to trade Skubal. And then on top of that, it is very, very simple. Some of the names you heard, there needs to be a reality check. I heard Andy Pages. I simply do not care. There is no value in these conversations. None. The team is 5th in the division. You just lost the series to the Chi Sox. And on top of that, you then lose 2 to the Angels and 2 to the Orioles. You are simply getting to a point with Tarek Skubal where you will need to probably pitch Skubal up to a month. You are getting to a point where Tarek Skubal is probably going to have to show the ability by heading out, showing a Skubal outing with 25 to 30 innings. We have no clue who is intrigued, who is interested. These trade packages are not real. Period. Let me explain something to you. John Heyman is Scott Boras's puppet. John Heyman and Scott Boras are in fact close. It is very, very simple. I am not convinced the Tigers are going to trade Skubal. I know I would. I know there's fans out there who would. And quite frankly, I don't believe that Scott Harris has the chops to do it. Not only that, but, everybody wants to bring up the 2024 Gritty Tigers. They are delusional enough to keep running out the same lineup. So, do you mean to tell me that they're not delusional enough to say, yeah, we can get back in this thing? Guys like Workman, Jones, Perez, Short, McKinstry. Oh, shocker. You're batting Riley Green, 5th again. Interesting. Simply for me, as a Tiger fan, as someone who talks about the team, it is not even June yet. I want to pretend that we do not have a baseball team right now. It is summertime. It is 70 degrees. And quite frankly, you, the fan, have better things to do. Very, very simply. Wake me up when it happens. It's that simple. Wake me up when there's a report of conversations that they plan on shopping Tarek Skubal. And quite frankly, you can't trade someone who's hurt. I mean, I heard yesterday, I heard somebody say, oh, we'll trade put Torres in the deal. Put Glaber in the deal. Oh, okay. Right. Except one problem. He's hurt too. Guys, you can't trade players who are hurt. Not only that, but that's where the first question comes in. Do you, as baseball fans, feel like we're going to have baseball in 27? Based on all the things I'm reading, it sure doesn't seem like it. And that's where I get into the first, we'll just say, arrow that I'm going to sling at this franchise. You know, we all know that Scott Harris is going to have to go into Chris Ilitch's office and say, I got bad news and even worse news. Chris is going to say, okay, well, tell me. Scott is then going to reply that I'm trading Tarek Skubal and you're picking up the tab. honestly, I think that should be a pay-per-view for all of us Tiger fans to see. And let's just take the Skubal and Glaber deal at face value. Do you mean to tell me that you would be trading $55 million? Let me go ahead and say that for the people in the back. $55 million. Do we know the Tigers and Chris Ilitch are going to pick up the tab on that? Are we sure about that? Because here's how this works in the real world. Skubal, I have respect for, and I think you as Tiger fans do as well. But the Game 5 example versus Seattle, where he didn't come back out, I think does bother you as fans. And quite frankly, it should. Then on top of that, we all know Skubal has cachet. We all know this. He's a back-to-back Cy Young winner. Skubal would walk into Boris's office and say, "Make me a Tiger for life." Scott Boras would say, "You are going to cost yourself money." Skubal would then say, "I don't care. I love these fans. I love this city. I want to be a Tiger." Period. And then inevitably, Scott Boras would be fired. That's how that works. And if Skubal wanted to be here, he would say it. There would be no dancing around, none of this Game 5 versus Seattle nonsense, and even the example of wearing all the jerseys, going to the games, look at me, oh, I want to be there with my teammates, oh. For example, Kevin McGonigal, the rookie, this would have been during the week. He had on a Red Wings hat. And Kevin McGonigal, I believe it was Stoney that asked him if his friends back in Philly would approve of him wearing a Detroit Red Wings hat. McGonigal replied, quote, "Probably not, but I have fallen in love with this city." Need another example? I'm glad you asked. How about Jack Campbell? We all love Jack Campbell, right? Jack Campbell said, quote, "The number one thing for me through this whole entire process is to remain a Lion." So take those two quotes and put it up against Skubal. I am simply done. I don't want to see Scooble. I don't want to talk about Scooble. I don't even want to look at Tarek Scooble. I would rather just wake up tomorrow and find out he's traded. He is gone. So here's the process. Show me a report they are actually shopping Tarek Scooble. Show me a report where Tarek Scooble is healthy. The Tigers haven't won a series since May friggin' 1st. We are at the end of the friggin' month. This team should have to earn their way back on the radar and onto your screen. Period. It is absolutely sickening for Scott Harris to sit there and say, oh, well, you know, it's a different roster, but, you know, we got different faces and stuff and sports and go Tigers. Scott Harris has not done his damn job. Period. It's sickening for a team that is now headed into another rebuild. This team stinks. And it's incredibly sad for me as a fan, as somebody who talks about the team, but it makes me sad for you guys, for you, the fan. And that's exactly why I put it in the About channel. I stand with the fans, not these damn teams. They sit there and they tell you belt to ass, toughness, grit, play the song, Trajan running around with a title belt, AJ Hinch running out there like he's the smartest guy in the room. Enough. It is absolutely sickening. And then they sit there and they ask you, the fan, for time, money, and emotion. And then it's marginal moves. We like our guys. Yawn fest. Talking points. Index cards. Get effing real. So I want to know. I need to hear from the people. Are you, as Tiger fans, done? Are you, as Tiger fans, checking out? We'll talk some equipment. We'll get to Call of Duty, and then that will conclude our Tiger talk. All right, so we do have equipment all over the place. We have got the, what is this? Good old Lance Modding's freaking skid steer and Harley rake. We have got the Hashi Springdale Keystone. We've got a 3020. Way over here, we have got Buck's mower. Shout out to the rental man Buck for that. Love that mod. We got Lance's Diamond Seed trailer. And we have got some grain, or I almost said grain bins. gravity wagons, and then we've got a 7700. As you can see, beans are ready to go. We can take care of that. We did take down all of the trees and bushes and all of that. And then somewhere, right here, we have got a 7150 with a mulcher. And yeah, that's all the equipment we have for right now. And then, of course, we've got the Dirty Max, we've got the roller. So we have enough to start, I would think. And yeah, we can go from there. I probably don't need to cut this, but I probably should anyway, so that way we can at least see an outline. For that, so we'll hop in the old case here. We'll drop the good old mulcher. And let's get to taking care of beans. Since we do have 3 fields of beans to take care of today. So the interesting part about this series is, well, there's a couple of things. Obviously, with the combine, we could have done the Project Green series, which is a all John Deere farm. Well, then, of course, this beautiful thing came out from STX Farms. I will have their itch.io in the description if you do want to go ahead and find this tractor. It is the 7200 and 7100 series. The gravity wagons, I believe, are by Rooster Mods. He makes some really good mods that are for PC and console. And if I'm not mistaken, I do believe these are in the in-game mod hub. So make sure you guys check that out. The trailer and the good old skid steer and Harley rake are both from Lance. Go check out his stuff. He makes some really cool stuff, especially if you're into skid steers, attachments, all that kind of stuff. Go check him out. Obviously, like I said, we have the Hashi Springdale Keystone RV. If you guys are into camping, if you're into trucks, if you are into trailers, there's all sorts of stuff from Hashi. So shout out to Hashi as well. And then, of course, as I roll, wow. Sweet Jesus. Tiger's got me friggin' worked up here. We do have the good old Dirty Max, which is, of course, from Division Diesel Division Customs. Make sure you guys go check them out. To me, they have the highest, I cannot even put enough pronunciation on highest quality trucks in the game for Farming Simulator. Go check them out. Alright, so let's get into Call of Duty. Because, well, Simply, we need to. The reason I say that is because of she decided to not only call in, but she decided to take to social media. And ironically, with that, to me, this is what we call fan gating. So let me start this off by saying, Miss Judy, I'm sure the Tigers appreciate your fan gating and your 1901 society points shall be en route via email or the mail from the Tigers organization thanking you for fan gating. Judy says, because we're fans and you're a POS or a punk or both. Been watching the Tigers for 60 years. We gotta stop right there. Gotta stop right there because this good old fan badge can't do it. No. There's nothing better than seeing the Tigers win it all. Checks notes. Are we sure we're in the same year, Miss Judy? It's only been 42 years since a title for this team. But yeah, you're right. We're the enemy. Yeah, you're right. Through the good and the bad. And now we have to endure negativity on social media and all the stupid bleep holes who think they know it all. It takes forever to block them and remain positive. Someday, if you're lucky and get older, you'll get it. No, in fact, you don't get it, Judy. And that next game will be better. Checks notes. As you lose 7-1 today. For now, we just have to tolerate wastes of skin. Oh, well, that's very nice. Aww. How sweet of Miss Judy. Wastes of skin. Meanwhile, the wastes of skin that you call are telling you the truth about this team. Oops. Don't let that get in the way of a good narrative, though. Because we are the real fans. Real fans. Only in Detroit. Only in Detroit. Do you hear that? The honor badge of, oh, I've been watching this team since great grandpappy's sisters, uncles, nephews were there in 1772. But yeah, you're right, Judy. We're the wastes of skin. We're negative. Checks notes. Yeah, they lost today. 7-1. Let's check even more data. 8-23 on the road. Still there. 22-37. And 12 games back out of the division. As I said, your loyalty points for Fangating will be en route, in the mail, or by phone from the organization thanking you so much for Fangating. But yeah, you're right. We're the wastes of skin. As this team is just collapsing. It is adorable. And then here's the other thing that has to stop. Some of you are so adorable with this Chris Ilitch take. And now you're making me feel dirty. Because now I gotta defend Pizza Boy. Very, very simple. Look at Chris Ilitch's resume. We knew the day he took over, he was nothing like his father. However, checks notes. You have a top 10 payroll in the damn sport. Who is responsible for that? That would be the one, the only businessman, Christopher Uglesias Ilitch. Now let me be very clear. Do I like Chris Ilitch? No, I do not. Not one bit. But guys, you have to look at the data. The data alone tells the story of this baseball team and Chris Ilitch's tenure as the owner. I feel like I need to end the stream and go take another shower. Stop it. You are making me feel dirty for defending Chris Ilitch. And it goes back to the first comment that I made. Or the first question that I made. Very, very simply. Are we sure that Scott Harris will go to Chris Ilitch and say, buddy, look, I need your support here. I am trading Tarek Skubal. I am trading Gleyber Torres. And that's $55 million that you're going to need to pick up. Are we sure that the Tigers have the chops to do that? But oh my God, so negative. But it is very, very simple, y'all. I told y'all from the start, man. I stand with the fans. I don't stand with these teams. These teams, this is the only city in America that well, no, New York is a little bit worse, I will admit, but I'm biased because I am from Detroit. However, nobody has a more love-hate relationship with their teams than this town. This town is one of the greatest sports cities in America. It is at least top 5. Therefore, that's why I said what I said. And not only that, but as far as the fantasy points, you do realize those don't exist, right? You do realize that. Just making sure. Alrighty then, that will conclude our Tiger Talk for the evening. We will circle back to it a little bit later. Yeah, we got to get into this. Because you as a Lions fan should relish in this moment of what I am about to play you, because very, very simply, things got awkward at Minnesota OTAs between free agent Kyler Murray and J.J. McCarthy. Or as some of you will hear me say, good old J.J. McSizzle. Bet. Remember when Michigan fans did that routine? So, this is Kyler Murray on getting acclimated in Minnesota, working with J.J. McCarthy, and so on.
Hello. I'm doing good. How are y'all? It's nice to meet y'all.
Questions for Kyler? Tyler, just these first couple days getting acclimated, getting on the field, what's it been like for you?
It's been great. It's what I love to do. Ever since I was a little kid, be an NFL quarterback, be out here to chase my dream, winning Super Bowls, to be out here with the guys in a new environment, getting acclimated to Minnesota and the system, and like I said, just all the guys been welcoming me. It's been great. It's been awesome.
How would you describe your relationship with JJ to this point?
It's been great. Obviously, I know he's a younger guy, so any way I can help him, obviously, I feel like, I've played 7 years now, going on 8. So I'm considered a veteran, even though I don't see myself as that. Give him any knowledge that he needs. Again, we're both competitors, and I know, we both want what's best for the team.
Has he been receptive to hearing criticism?
Of course. Yeah, he's overly accepting, and he's always communicating, asking questions, stuff like that, so it's been good.
Is this about a lot about the system and learning the system, or is it about learning players and who likes balls where and what they do?
For me, the learning curve, I would say all of it. Obviously.
All right, so there is Kyler Murray. Well, what you're about to hear is bad.
Hello, everyone. How we doing? Doing great.
Questions for JJ?
What was your reaction when the Vikings signed Kyler Murray? Look, the organization made a decision that they feel like is going to improve and the depth and the quality of the room. And, they feel like they made that decision. But, all I'm thinking about is continuing the upward trajectory that I set for myself last season, that last quarter of the season, and continuing to be the best version of me every single day.
How about the offseason, JJ? Did you do anything in particular? What was it like for you in terms of how you work out, train, all this stuff?
It was a first great offseason being an NFL player, and at the end of the day, it was just all about getting to this point, focusing on processing, focusing on making great decisions, and, ball placement and putting in the right spots.
Is that just physical reps? Are you kind of looking at video or everything? What are you doing?
Everything. Just like every quarterback, there's a lot of things to work on, and, we worked on those things.
JJ, Justin talked about you guys getting together, in some different places. So what do you think you can learn from those kind of reps, just you and him?
It's just building those, on time and on rhythm passes for each concept, each route. And, it's just tremendous to be around that guy every single day.
How was your work this offseason different, having, those 10 starts now in the NFL under your belt?
It's really been the same as every offseason. Find things that I need to improve on and improve on those things so I could come out here and, do the best that I can for my teammates, coaches, and the fans in this organization.
What are some of the things that you pinpointed?
It's really all different kinds of quarterbacks have different things to work on. It's not one size fits all with all the things you could work on. So it's just been a lot of things that help improve my game and, really just getting to the point of processing, focusing on the ball placement for each routes for certain coverages and stuff like that.
What did you want Jennings, see him throwing it out there?
I'm so happy to have that guy part of the squad. He's got a great energy about him. Been watching him for a long time. He's been doing it really at a high level for a long time, and we're blessed to have him part of this group.
How will you approach this, from now until through training camp in terms of the competition and in terms of, you ended the season as a starter. Do you think of yourself still as a starter?
Every single offseason, in season, I'm going to work my tail off. It doesn't matter what the situation is around me. I'm going to control what I can control and do the best thing I can for this team, and we'll do that.
You've been told it's a true competition at this point, or what's been told to you by Kevin O'Connell and the coaching staff?
It's a true competition. That's what I was told. But at the end of the day, it matters what I do out here every single day, and that's the only thing I'm focused on.
JJ, what's your relationship been like with Kyler so far?
It's just like two guys in a classroom. He sits on one side, I sit on the other side, and it's the coach's responsibility to teach us and coach us. So,
is there any awkwardness between you two?
Awkwardness, it's just like the same feeling, when you're in high school and there's another person on the other side of the room. That's just kind of how it is. So I wouldn't say there's any awkwardness.
Coming out of off-season, how would...
Alrighty then. Bet. So you heard JJ McCarthy there. You heard Kyler Murray. Look, to me, it's very simple. The organization made a decision that they needed an upgrade. Is Kyler Murray an upgrade? Possibly. But we won't find that out until games start. Very, very simple. Now, as far as the Kevin O'Connell aspect of it, it is very, very simple. Kevin O'Connell is one of the best young minds in the NFL. He's an elite play caller. And look, he fixed Sam Darnold. But here's my question. Look, I'll just be honest with you. I'm close to it because of obviously being from Michigan, being from where I am, being in Big Ten country, watching JJ at Michigan. All the jokes aside, we're going to leave that alone. But can JJ McCarthy speak English? In what classroom are you sitting with another person, with one person on one side and you on the other? I mean, I thought back to my school days when I was in friggin' middle school and I couldn't come up with an answer. I gotta be honest, I truly believe it is Kyler's job until proven otherwise. So there's my takeaways on that. Hopefully you guys were able to hear the audio. That was very interesting. A little awkward. Alrighty then. With that, how about we get into the Dead Wings? Let me be very honest with you, like I was with the Tigers. Guys, I see it all. I check it all, the reports, all of it. Very, very, very simple. We have a rule on this channel. And just like the Tigers, it is very, very simple. It is show or go. Show me. Because I do think this team does need to have a big summer. You saw the report that came out. It was either this week or last week. Oh, we only want to bring back Patrick Kane. Ugh. Why? It makes no sense to bring him back, in my opinion. But it is very, very simple. And obviously, when the playoffs end and a champion is crowned, we will talk about the Wings. The Dead Wings, that is. And we will go ahead and we will talk about the moves they need to make. We will talk about what needs to happen with the captain. And just like the Tigers, you, the Red Wings fans, deserve better. And yes, I do believe that Stevie Y needs to be bold. And I could get into all of it. I could get into about the whole Stevie Y, Scott Harris, Brad Holt, Trajan, they all sound the same. They just, every single time, they all sound the same. And not only that, but it has been 7 years. 7 years in this town of no playoffs, the March collapse, all of it. And it is, quite frankly, it's amusing. But the fact of the matter is that I think we as fans all want better. And if you're one of these lemmings, it is very, very simple. Don't need to hear it. I'm tired of talking points. I'm tired of index cards. All of it. Debating on how I want to do this. I think for now, I think we will start over here and then go ahead and make a little bit of an outline at least try to anyway. As far as what all we need to plow up, then we can get into pricing some things out. And then we can go from there. But no, it is very, very simple. I don't understand the gatekeeping or the fan gating. I just don't. I simply do not understand it. But this is an OBD moment. What is OBD, you ask? Only in Detroit. Only in Detroit would a GM be given the carte blanche to stay for 7 years, no playoffs, and look, it's something I am going to talk about with Scott Harris. It is something I am going to talk about with Brad Holmes. And it is something I am going to talk about with Trajan. Look, you were paid to come home from Tampa Bay, which I know this is going to ruffle some feathers, but quite frankly, I believe it, and I will stand on it. It looks like you really got lucky in Tampa. Oops. The point is that Stevie Y was not brought here to do what has happened. Stevie Y was brought here to bring this team back to prominence, back to the 90s, when this team was in fact competing for Stanley Cups. Period. Amen. Hallelujah. End of story. Now, is there nostalgia in bringing Stevie Y back? Of course there is. If you are a 90s kid, then you know about the Red Wings. Period. Now, I was born in 96. I was too little to even remember that. My point to you is, whether it is Scott Harris, Steve Yzerman, Brad Holmes, or Trajan Langdon, you were brought here to bring this team to prominence. Period. End of story. The reason why I say it is OBD is because of the fact of, look at this franchise. You now have the longest streak of missing the playoffs. And it's insane. And that's why we don't do talking points. We don't do index cards. Very, very, very simply. We just don't hear. You want to do talking points and index cards? You go find a different show. Go find a different channel. Whatever. But very, very simply, this franchise is also owned by Chris Ilitch. Shocker there. But the point is, it's very simple. It is show or go. It is crunch time. This team needs a big summer. This team needs to be bold. This organization needs to be looked at from top to bottom. All while remembering why Stevie Y was brought here. Period. End of story. Therefore, that will conclude our Red Wings talk. So let's go ahead and let's switch over to football. Because we got to talk about some things. Because the NFL decided that, well, they were going to come out with a rule. And then, of course, college football continues to put, checks notes, foot in mouth, foot in mouth, foot in mouth. So we'll talk about that. And then we will get into some basketball. With that, here is your lineup for the 2026 NFL International Games. My question is who asked for this? So here's what we're going to do. I am going to simply give you the lineup, and then what I am going to do is I am going to ask you a question. That's how this works. So here we go. Week 1, Thursday, September 10th. 49ers versus the Rams. Week 3, Sunday, September 27th. Oh, excuse me. That is the Melbourne, Australia game, which is the Rams and Niners. Then we have the Brazil game, which is Ravens, Cowboys. Sunday, October 1st, in the UK and London, it is the Colts taking on the Commanders. Week 5, in London, Sunday, October 11th, we have the Eagles taking on the Jaguars. Sunday, October 18th, we have the Texans and the Jags in London. Then on top of that, Week 7. Sunday, October 25th, in Paris, we have the Steelers taking on the Saints. And then, of course, week 9, in Madrid, we have the Bengals and Falcons. Week 10, which is probably your best game on the schedule, to be quite honest with you, based on all of the variables, which we can talk about if you would like, is Patriots versus Lions in Germany. Week 11, Sunday, November 22nd, in Mexico City, is the Vikings and Niners. So here's my question. These are all Sunday games. They're all international. Do you mean to tell me that you will be up at 9:30 in the morning on a Sunday to watch these games? Look, maybe it's me. Maybe I'm the crazy one. But we are getting away from what makes the NFL great, in my opinion, which is Sunday, the holy day. Because most people who are traditionalists go to church, have a little brunch with the missus or the family, do the occasional housework. Now look, it's different from me because I do a lot of different football products and so on and so forth. But the fact of the matter is I do think we are getting away from what originally made the league great. And I understand what Roger Goodell wants, even though he's a clown. And it is the fact of that he wants it to be a worldwide league. And that's fine. But when you get away from the originality of the league, it will hurt the product. Look, there are some good games. There are. I'm not going to sit here and say they're not. But week 1, Niners versus Rams? Yeah, I'm really interested in that game. Based on it is Matthew Stafford. There is questions with the Rams. There's questions with the Niners. That's a good game. There is. Ravens Cowboys. Look, at one point, well, even in the now, when the Cowboys lose, America wins. Now, as far as that Chris Sims take on the Ravens, QB Lamar Jackson, we're going to leave that alone, but Just gonna go ahead and tell you, not great, Bob. Not great. So we got 2 games so far. Look, I think this one can be debatable, but maybe in the future we can do a sell me this pen with this one. But it is Texans Jaguars. Now, I'm not big on Trevor Lawrence. I am not big on CJ Stroud. But I do think that there is one thing with the Texans that does, in fact, play a part into what I believe they are and can be, and that is their defense. We all know Will Anderson is a beast. We all know Danielle Hunter is a beast. And then really it's the last 2 games. Look, obviously I am close with this one because it is our team. It is the team that I talk about. It is the team that I report on, so on and so forth. That is Lions Patriots. Now, yes, of course, we can make the jokes about Mike Vrabel and Diana Rossini and that whole ordeal. But it is very, very simple. Look, it is, at least for now, as we know, it is Vrabel versus Campbell, which I think is an interesting matchup. You've got the brand new Lions angle, which is another interesting one. And then obviously Drake May. Does he take another step forward? All that kind of thing. Look, the NFL is built off of storylines. Period. And there can be storylines. There can. And look, I do believe that there is storylines with each game. I do. And then obviously it is week 11. It is Minnesota taking on the Niners. And look, I think there's storylines with this game. Simply, what do the Niners look like? Because I think we all can understand that, look, around that week 11, week 12, week 13, we are talking about the playoff push. We are talking about what is this team about. And look, whether it is JJ at the helm or it is Kyler Murray at the helm. Look, I truly believe that's going to be a storyline based on the audio I played you earlier. The whole thing. So I really think there's some storylines there. And then obviously we get into the Niners. And it is the idea of what is their window. And look, I know that's a forbidden word here in Detroit. But it is very, very simple. And it is the idea of what do the Niners look like? Do the Niners make the postseason? The whole thing. I mean, there's so many storylines that quite frankly I do think matter, and again I do think that is what makes the NFL great. The NFL is great based on the storylines. And the fact of the matter is let me make this one point to you, the fan, because in this lane, in this business, whatever you want to call it, or term it for that matter, guys, football is what drives it. Football is king. And I'll be honest, and let me say something nice about the midday show. It is very, very simple. They do a wonderful job throughout the spring and summer, especially when it comes to OTAs, when it comes to training camp, when it comes to all of it. The guys do a wonderful job. They do. And look, I would highly recommend that you listen to them. Look, being a fan, and this is where I'm going to tie in Judy's call, is that, look, those fantasy points that we think we get as fans, guys, they don't exist. They don't. And it is very, very simple. But it is the fact of that, very, very simply, the fan get all of those variables, they don't matter. They don't matter when the game starts. Because the fact of the matter is, we're all fans. We all care about our teams. And look, I do believe that eventually, you, the fan, you do want the results. And in these jobs and in these things, results matter. And I truly believe that. But no, I do think eventually we all want the results to matter. We all want it to matter in a sense of chasing the ultimate goal. And the thing is I think you can equate it to whether it's the MLB, the NFL, the NHL, and even the NBA. The fact of the matter is that we are all human. Period. End of story. But the fact of the matter is that when you look at it from a real world aspect, it is very, very simple. It is the idea of that results have to matter. They do. Oh boy. Wow, we're going to have 2 gravity wagons full. Sheesh. And we still got 2 other fields. Nice. Things you like to see. But no, we are all human. And eventually the results have to matter. That's how it works in the real world. That's how it should work in the sports world. You know, and the way that I equate it to is that, you know, well, let me be honest with you, since we're being honest tonight. It is the idea of that eventually the results have to matter, but we're all out here trying to find our niche. We're all out here trying to become the best versions of ourselves. Now, to me, I think there's a couple of variables that tend to get lost in the sports world more than the real world. We don't go to our jobs and talk about what these GMs talk about. I mean, do me a favor, right? So take it from this example. When you go to work on Monday, or if you're like me and you work tomorrow, do me a favor. Go to your boss and tell him you're going to make marginal moves for whatever company you work for or whatever job you work for, and see how far that gets you. And then, of course, there is the topic that I've been waiting to talk about, which is, of course, Douglas Euglesias Karsh. And that is his little Chernobyl that he had after the end of season press conference. Look, I am just at a point to where these press conferences are a joke, a waste of time. And quite frankly, they should come out to an empty room and just talk to themselves. No reporters, no writers, nothing. Very simply. But I equate it to Detroit because not only am I close to it, but it's the fact of, look at these GMs. And in fact, let's do it. Go ahead and tell me they all don't sound the same. And here's some examples for you. Trajan, for instance. Trajan, first of all, look, here is how I look at the GMs in this town, whether you're a GM, a head coach, a Pobo, as the Riggs calls it. It is very, very simple to me. You are a CEO. You have a standard to meet. Period. End of story. all the GMs in this town get an F. In fact, they get an F minus. First of all, Trajan, why are you rubbing your face like this is a stressed out moment? Trajan, you are not a surgeon who was just working on a 4-year-old on the table who has a brain injury, we'll say, and now he's pronounced dead. And you have to come out of that room and break the news. Trajan, you run a basketball team. You take a millionaire's money or a billionaire's money and you buy and sell basketball players. Like, it is not that serious. You are not a surgeon. You're not in construction or law enforcement. All of that. Now, we do respect all of those people because of the fact of, well, they work very hard. But it is just, why are you rubbing your face like this is a stressed out moment? And then, Trajan, you are a CEO of this company, the Detroit Pistons basketball organization. Sit up straight. I need you to be involved. And you need to let these fans know the middle ground where I stay. And it's the main reason why I stand with the fans. And look, I don't need Trajan walking out with a title belt, play the song, belt to ass. None of it. I need Trajan in a suit, a nice watch. Let's sit up. Let's act involved. And let's let the fans know why you were hired to do a specific job, which is bring this team, the Detroit Pistons basketball organization, out of a 23-year slump. Period. Prove to the fans you are the man for the job. I don't need a bullet chain, a title belt, none of it. And that is why I am saying, come out. Speak to the fans clearly. None of this rubbing my face or this. Buddy, you are at a press conference. You are the CEO of this company. Act like it. Brad Holmes with the, yeah, you know. Brad, enough. And it's the same thing with Brad Holmes. It's the same thing with Scott Harris. And it's the same thing with Steve Yzerman. Very, very, very simple. And here's the other thing. And this is what annoys me the most. Excuse me. It is the fact of that Trajan does not have to come out and say, yeah, everybody's on the block. No, that is not what I'm asking for. I am simply asking Trajan, be involved. And on top of that, let's go ahead. Let's lose the act. We don't need index cards, talking points, this, that, and the other. Prove to the fans you are the man for the job, and tell the fans, look, I understand why I was brought here. I understand that this is a job. I understand that sports is not serious. I simply am the man for the job because I will do what it takes to make sure that this team gets out of a 23-year slump. Very, very simply. And when someone asks what Trajan is willing to do, Trajan says, whatever it takes. I will never in my life understand why it is so hard for any of these teams to talk about championships, to talk about I'm the man for the job, etc. Let's get into this football rule from the NFL. The NFL allows up to 10 international regular season games starting in 2027. The league completely eliminated the rule that teams are allowed to protect 2 of their home games from being moved. Additionally, no team is required to play more than 1 international game outside of North America in a single season. No home protections. Teams can no longer block specific opponents from coming into their home stadiums to play at an international site. Global rotation. The NFL mandates that every team must host an international game at least once every 8 years. No late season travel. International games cannot be scheduled after week 14. And then, of course, there is hosting rules. Franchises participating as the home team for an international game forfeit the revenue from that home gate, though they are compensated financially by the league. So with that said, here's your warning. You know what's your problem? You know what this is going to cause? We're going to see a Christmas Day game in Brazil. How about the Lions with Thanksgiving? You'll be taking on a divisional opponent, whether it's Green Bay, Chicago, or Minnesota, internationally. Yeah, that'll be fun. And then let's get to college football. Because college football, for some reason, cannot help themselves to keep finding the bottom of the chili pot. Tony Petitti, the Big Ten commissioner and a Fox who came from Fox, scumbag TV executive, wants a 24-team playoff. Uh-oh. Then, ESPN wants a 16-team playoff. Ruh-roh. So here's what I'm going to say. With the NFL, it's different. With the NFL, NFL is king. Period. What is being taken away from college football is the fact of that Saturdays were made for college football. And that's what made it so different. College football was on Saturday, and the NFL was on Sunday. Take where I'm from. The state of Michigan. The greatest rivalry in sports. Michigan, Ohio State. The game will not only be moved from after Thanksgiving, but it will, in fact, be at the start of divisional play. And that call will be made from the networks. Because the networks run this trash bleep sport. The game will be meaningless. Rivalries will be gone. And here's what I will tell you. For us, the fans, tailgating is the last stand for college football. You are going to have people scheduling Eastern, Western, Central. It'll be insane. And simply for me, it is apathy. Don't care. Just simply do not care. And that, I will leave you on part one with this. We will talk some basketball tomorrow. For part two, we will finish with the Harley rake. We will do some more tree mulching. We will do some more harvesting. There will be a bunch of things to do. My point to you is that just like the NFL's rule and this college football topic, how much more? How much more is it going to take? And let me ask you this, as far as Petitti goes, as far as the NFL owners go, how many more mansions, how many more cars, how many more yachts do you need? I am at a point in my life where, look, greed is ruining these leagues. It is that simple. So this was fun. I appreciate everybody watching. I appreciate everybody who commented, liked, subscribed, and the rest. You guys are the real MVPs as always. I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. And very, very simply, have a beautiful Sunday. We will be back tomorrow for part 2 and possibly a curveball tomorrow as well. Can't wait. Love y'all, man. Y'all are the real MVPs. We'll catch you on the next one. Laters.